In this video I want to go through the pipe builder tool, which is basically a lot better than the last one. So when you put down your digital asset, first input is going to require you a curve. So you just put in a curve. You can see that pipe is built in front of you, so you can change it whatever you want. But with these inputs you can basically work everything from top. So let's start with the default controls. So there are going to be two styles of curves. So going to be this kind of classic pipe structure, and also one of my experimental ones are this one. This is going to be a little bit more organic looking, and you can kind of randomly put these flanges around. Let's make it maybe a little bit more resolution, like that. But the main part is this one, so let's start look at how can we change all of this. So in this, you just want to go to the curve style one, because this is the one. First one is the classic one, and 0 is the kind of a more organic looking one. So in the one, let's check the controls. So you can change the radius, which is pretty simple, the resolution of the pipe, the bevel amount, the resolution of bevel amount, so like that. You can also offset these flanges. So sometimes in more tight corners you want maybe move them away a little bit more. So that's basically that. So with these bolts you can basically change 1 and 2. Both of them are different and you can change different shapes inside them. So let's take a look. So first you can change the bolt amount and the bolt distance between these. So when you change the radius of this, you probably want to change also these parameters. So with the bolts, let's take a look at the default ones. With the bolts you have a couple of options. First of all, with both two bolts there's actually detail select, which is only usable when you are using the ZBrush input. So if you're not, then don't touch it. So the input selector is basically, there are two default bolts that comes with the tool. It's the basic shapes that you can always make better ones, of course, but these are just defaults, so that you are starting with something. So there's a couple options you can do. There's uniform scaling for both of them, and also offset, so you can put them at the right position. Of course, both of them, there's this option. Also there are mirroring options. So how do you actually put in some custom bolts in it? So let's just start with the, and also let's take a look at the flange control. So in the flanges there are basically the same options. You can uniformly scale it and also scale them in. And also flange selection is also from the ZBrush importing, and the source is also, you see that since we don't have any source, it's going to show error. So for us to get something inside here, we have to do a couple of things. First of all, let's create some geometry. So I'm going to create some box, and I'm going to put this box inside this third input that's named custom flange. So when you're inside, you go to the flange control and select the one, actually to the 2, because that's a 2. And you can see that you're basically going to copy this geometry inside here. You can also scale it in like that and scale it inside that, just like the default ones. Of course, you can just go in here, just bevel them like that, and going to update. So that's that. And let's take a look how can we put in custom bolts. Basically the same thing. One thing to note is that whatever you make sure that you are making these changes inside the positive z-axis. So I'm going to bevel this, and I am making sure that these details that I want on the bolt is in the positive z. So the position doesn't really matter, because once we put this inside the node, it's going to position it, and also size also doesn't really matter. So once we are inside here, you can see that there are two input 6 and 7. That's going to be, I'm going to rename them, but they're basically custom bolt inputs, so I just put them in here, and then inside here in the bolt selection input selector, you just want to select the 4. Basically you can say whether it's 4 or 5, so you can change the basic box can go into 1 and the other one is, so basically the basic box is going to be inside the 5 and this is going to be inside 4, so you can set up different shapes for each one. Also you can change the bound and scale them in and out. So how do we import from the ZBrush? Importing from ZBrush is pretty straightforward. So what you have in the Labs toolkit, there are Go Z import nodes. So once you have imported from the ZBrush, we can see that the geometry is not at all sorted at whatever. But before you importing, make sure you have named them after the numbers. So what I did, I just started with numbers 10 and up. So basically this is going to be our name that we are going to select and delete everything that's not that number. So if we select 12, everything else is going to be deleted. So how does it work? So what I do, just put it inside the second one, and also you can put it inside the third one, now fourth one and fifth one. So these are going to be both bolts and flanges. So let's go over here. In the bolts you can see that you can select what's the input. You can see that it's 3 and 2. So one we're going to put 3 and the second is going to be 2, and in the flange control let's put it to the 1, right? It kind of makes, you kind of have to remember what the sort selection is, but not that bad. So in the flange selection basically we have the same thing. You can scale in and out, and also with the flange selector you can select all of these shapes that we have imported. So of course these are not very optimal for this kind of shape, but if you make some custom made exactly for the pipes, you can see how easy it would be just imported them and put them in. For the bolts, make sure you have, once you have inputted into the bolt imports 1 and 2, you have 2 and 3 slots. So basically this is going to copy the first, so they can uniformly be changed, or just go to the 2 and they both can be changed separately. So the options are the same with the both of them. You can switch between the styles, scale them inside. Let's change this second one, maybe something like this, a little bit smaller inside, like that. Of course you can change the amount of them, like that. So I think that will be it for this overview of the tool. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.